for you to send me some chicken wings.
That's definitely not happening, and that's a pretty good start to the episode.
I could use some chicken wings.
I want some chicken wings now.
So, effectively, why we're doing this is the final episode for the series. It decided that its audio, it only wanted to keep about half of it. So instead what we're going to do is we're going to rewatch the episode with zero audio because, well, there's no point. And we're just going to give our opinion on the game, what's happening on screen, how do we think it played out, and just in general, the same thing we would be doing if I was playing the game, just now us watching us playing the game. So I will start recording now, I guess.
Also because literally after we beat the game, we spent about half an hour complaining about how awful the game was.
Oh, man,
and now that's lost to the ether, so I got to do it again.
So and the best part is, it's been a little while. Just a little peek behind this. Just a little while. So we've had just enough time to forget about how angry we were. So we'll get just as angry again.
I mean, it shows the date of when you saved there.
Oh, yes.
And it's been a hot minute. It's actually been exactly a certain period of time.
2 certain periods of time.
2 certain periods of time.
No.
There you go.
What did you do?
Don't worry about it.
Fizzabelle. That's a great name still.
This talk of chicken may or may not have made me pull up KFC's menu.
I'm not gonna lie, I really want chicken now too, but I have so many leftovers in my fridge, so I should probably just do that.
I've had KFC earlier today.
I feel like it feels like you're playing right now. It's so weird that you're not.
Yeah, I'm just watching. Oh, this is really grainy. Oh man, it's gonna be tough to watch.
Here's the thing.
Well, you're just taking the audio off, aren't you? So it doesn't really matter.
Oh, I guess that's true. Yeah. This is more just for us to watch. Yeah, okay, yeah. That
yeah, so we can refresh our failing memories.
The best thing is, Kevin, now you get to see what this entire game was like for us.
Yeah, it was worse than this. It was so much worse than this.
Quite often, yes.
When I had
Quite often, we actually could not see what was happening. Yeah.
The wireless internet was not doing me any favors. That is for sure. So I think this was the only. I think I had a goal, like clear objective: beat Kalasmos, turn off the game. I'm pretty sure that was the objective.
Did we already beat the dragon by this point, or did we do the dragon and Kalasmos in the same episode?
No, we beat the dragon before, after the 3rd or 4th attempt, and then we fought Kalasmos the next episode.
Yeah, I remember after beating the dragon, you're like, I'm not doing Kalasmos. We're done. We're just never again with this game.
Yeah, and I think
I've said this multiple times.
But I'm pretty sure that we actually took a pretty decent break in between the dragon and Kalasmos. Like, I thought you were actually done, and then you're just like, one day you just started it up, and you're like, all right, let's do this.
Dude, there was the same thing between like the 2nd and 3rd attempt on the dragon too.
Yeah.
That dragon was such fucking horseshit.
The second hardest boss in the game. The other hardest boss would have been the Underdigger. That guy was the reckoner of my fucking shit.
That's just because he desperate attacked every single attack was a desperate attack.
3 desperate attacks in a row. I'm sorry, sir. This isn't desperate. This is just an auto attack. Fuck off with this shit.
Dude, he's got an Infinity Edge and a Phantom Dancer. His crit chance is high.
Oh, no kidding. It's not even a crit. It's a desperate attack. It's different modifiers.
Isn't Desperate Attack this game's version of a crit, or am I completely off base here?
They're two separate things. There's the crit that our characters can do, and then the enemies just get random desperate attacks, which the modifiers are completely different because it's 5 times the amount of damage they normally do.
Oh, that is pixeled.
What do you mean? This looks pretty good.
This looks exactly like how we watched it, except a little bit clearer.
Yeah, I see no issues with this.
Yeah, not at all.
I can actually see that there's more than one feather on his tail wing.
I do like the costume you have for Eric. It looks good.
The only costume.
Also, we just essentially shattered space. It was just a ball, and now we've gone from the ball to being in the middle of a galaxy, which literally makes no sense.
Yeah,
How are we breathing in space? Who knows?
Magic.
Yeah, magic. And we have a giant flying space whhale, so
Unicorn.
Also, there's no spaces. I remember being so annoyed by this.
I hate this so much. Unicorn whale.
Oh, he talks super slowly, too. Sub-Jiren.
Yeah, he you can't really tell with
I
the
am
mask
Plasma
on
Saban
though,
on
but
the
once
board.
his mask comes off, obviously we already know the art in this game was designed by Akira Toriyama, the guy who did Dragon Ball. So this character literally looks like a fusion between Cell Xeno, if anyone knows what Cell Xeno is, and Jiren.
Oh,
Yep.
Xeno, is that like the Dragon Ball Heroes stuff? Or...
Yeah, and the Xenoverse stuff. So basically when Cell is being controlled by the, what's her name, Toa,
Oh, yeah.
he actually gets all beefy just like this and has X on his chest. That is literally practically Cell Zeno's body with a different head.
Oh,
That's
wow.
absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, like if I was to show you a picture of Cell Zeno, like the only difference is that he has hands instead of the weird blaster and claw thing. But like this is such a lazy design. It looks like they took Jiren's head and stuck it on Cell Zeno's body.
Look, we're talking about Dragon Quest XI here. Lazy is the highest compliment you can give them.
So wait, let me give this game the only props I can give it. The voice actor who played Hendrik totally like embraces the ridiculousness of his character. I enjoy that.
Hendrik and
I enjoyed the voice actor.
Hendrik and Sylvando were both fine characters because they were the most lifelike characters out of our sea of just dull, drab robots.
Don't get me wrong, I also
It was
enjoyed
great.
Veronica because she's mean.
Veronica was a sassy bitch, and we know Nathaniel and his sassy bitches.
Oh yeah, and Nathaniel's into dominant women, 100%.
Oh,
Apparently. We haven't had any experience to test this, but this is the assumption.
Dominant British women.
Oh yeah, British women, 100%. First downside, freaking Hendrix costume. It is a punishment to the eyes.
Glorious.
It's literally the worst thing
What
in
are
this game
costumes?
design-wise.
This YouTuber doesn't know what alternative costumes for his characters are.
I know, it's actually the worst.
I don't know why you'd ever want to use them with such iconic designs as these. Oh,
There's some super stupid choices in this game, like art-wise and like character-wise. Like, why is Veronica a kid? I don't know. Why the frick does he have a polka dot like tunic? Sorry, not polka dot, checkered tunic.
Well, plaid? You don't like plaid? Got something
I
against
do
plaid?
not. I do.
You don't like little boxes, the little squares?
No, if it's not on like a lumberjack jacket and he's carrying an axe, then it's no good. Also, that sword Hendrik is carrying looks so stupid.
oh, it's horrendous.
It's actually horrendous.
It also looks to be hollow on that side view there,
Yeah.
I think at the top there is a hole in it.
Yeah.
which a hollow sword
Also,
is not a useful one.
I literally actually still do not understand the story of this game at the end, like the villains. I don't understand it. So, like, okay, so the Seer is Erdwin's friend from the past who was influenced by Kalasmos' evil, kills Erdwin, steals part of Kalasmos' power, and becomes Mortigan, right?
Correct.
He's possessed by Kalasmos' power and
By
becomes
parts of it, because then he the Seer. The Seer who helps us defeat Mortigan.
Yeah, the
Well, that's the
seer
thing is-
somehow managed to separate himself from Mortigan, but because
Think
he now
it-
doesn't have a body anymore, he's just this ethereal being.
Think of it like when Cell absorbed the androids and then got punched so hard he spat one of them out.
Yeah, now look, his
Right.
colors are literally just Cell's colors as well. Like, he was at least a different color before. Yeah, it was super confusing to me, because it's like, okay, so he was possessed by parts of Kalasmos' power, goes evil, but then also somehow splits himself in two, becomes Mortigan and the Seer, but the Seer is also Mortigan, helps us kill Mortigan, is somehow still alive, and then helps us to fight Kalasmos, but Kalasmos is still separate. It's really poorly written.
Oh, and then the ending once we get there. No spoilers yet. That ending cutscene.
Oh,
Oh,
and then
you
we lost our
just the,
shit.
that is freaking Zelda timeline levels of bullshit. Like,
That's
We're not-
worse.
we're
That is
shit
worse
when we
than
get
Zelda
there
time.
again.
no. The Zelda timeline was pretty bad because they literally changed the official timeline in the middle because they're like, someone pointed out things don't make sense, and they're like, then we change it.
It's
Wait,
almost
what?
like the games weren't designed to all be connected when they originally made them, and then the fan base were like, they have to be connected, and so Nintendo just gave the fans what they wanted.
Well, they gave them an original timeline, but then the new games were supposed to be connected, but they just didn't look back at their old games when they did it. So they kind of were like, well, we're changing the timeline now.
Okay, it's almost like having 30 games makes the timeline an unwieldy fucking mess.
Yeah, I get that. It's also the only reason that I understand, like, with, let's say, Star Wars, why Disney decided... He even has freaking Cell Wings. I'm so annoyed.
Yep.
Disney decided to get rid of the Legends timeline. I get why, because it's like, well, we want to have Star Wars completely open to do whatever we want with it. Okay, it makes sense, but it's still a piss off.
Well, here's
as the person who's giving them the money.
Here's the thing. Here's the worst part about that. It makes sense, but would be a piss off if they did anything, productive or even remotely positive with it. But considering they just then pulled their pants down and took a fat, wet shit all over the franchise, not so much.
Arguably, they have done a few good things with Star Wars, but not a lot. Like, let's say the only thing that they kept in the canon from before that I still think is really good, Clone Wars. The Clone Wars show.
The Clone Wars show was good. Rogue
The
One
last season
good.
was also decent. I liked Rebels. I know you didn't, but I still think Rebels was good for the series. It added a lot of stuff that made it pretty good. Disagree, but that's fine. Mandalorian is really good.
Mandalorian is very good, yeah.
Rogue One...
They seem to be a lot better with TV shows than they do with...
yeah, well, I mean, DC is the
movies.
same. Rogue One is a good movie. I quite enjoyed Rogue One. Han Solo is watchable.
I really enjoyed Rogue One, and I fucking loathe Han Solo.
I know you do, but from like a movie standpoint, it is actually watchable, and it is an enjoyable movie as opposed to Rise of Skywalker, which is unwatchable garbage.
Yes. Okay, that is fair. And I will say for Solo, it did have one sequence that just made me go, I wish I want a movie of that. And that was the, like, World War I style running through the trenches with the giant fucking mechs above you section.
Yeah,
where
actually...
I looked at that and I was like, give me a movie in that environment. That was amazing. That was awesome. That was so freaking cool and different. I want that.
Well, if you actually look at the sequel trilogy, there's actually very little war in the Star Wars. It's almost completely absent.
Well, there's also no stakes in the sequel trilogy. As you never know who's fighting who, where anyone is. For example, you had the Republic, the New Republic, but you never see them or meet them, and why there's a rebellion or a rebel group when there's a New Republic.
Yeah, and how did the First Order suddenly take over the whole galaxy again when they were like behind the whole time?
Well, they were behind the whole time. Then 2 days pass. They destroy a bunch of planets, which you really should not be able to see next to each other because that's one system in an entire galaxy. Anyways, they destroy a bunch of planets, and then they're ruling. What do you mean they're ruling? It's been like 6 hours.
Yeah, and they destroyed their super weapon as well. But we are completely ignoring everything happening in Dragon Quest. Just shows you how entertaining the last fight was. Oh, sorry, Kevin. Oh, we killed him. He's dead.
I had someone knocking at the door. I had to go deal with that.
So basically, you haven't missed much. Basically, all this fight was Kalasmos doing a bunch of AoE, him doing a bunch of AoE healing, and then a bunch of status effects, because all of the final bosses have to have ridiculous amounts of status effects.
Well, he also moves. I think he had one point where he moved 3 times, Hendrik went once, Hero went, and then he had another 3 moves. And now this nonsense is happening where everyone's either confused, asleep, paralyzed, whatever.
Yeah, just all status effects. It's really dumb, though, too, because didn't this character have 3 things that you could hit? You could hit either arm or his head.
Yep.
He's got the
which was
claw or
super...
the cannon.
Yeah, I don't understand why they do that a lot. Like, it's like I understand that it's giving you a different way to do the boss fight, but honestly, who's going to do this boss fight more than once? And why wouldn't you just always do AoE?
Who's going to play this game more than once? Let's be real now.
Honestly, who's going to play
Some
this game
people.
all the way through once?
Some people will. I actually did buy it for my Switch because I like. At the beginning, the story is so basic, and the game is still enjoyable, but it doesn't exactly make you think at all.
I don't need the game to make me think. As long as you have some enjoyable characters, the pacing of the story is fun to watch. But no, this is just literally just like grind my.
Yeah, didn't you just defeated him there? Didn't you? Like, is he just dead already?
No,
It's just his arm.
His face is now fully visible.
for whatever reason, he couldn't use his full power when he first came in.
Well, we've already killed his arm. Like, what they should have done for the fight was once you destroyed his mask, he healed up the full. Would have been ridiculously difficult, but would have felt more like a final boss fight, you know?
This felt more than enough like a final boss fight with the speed values and the status effects.
I actually feel like you had a harder time against the true first boss, Mordigan, when he had his two heads. You actually lost that fight once you one-shot this guy. Like, one attempt. Yeah, people died, but, like, you didn't actually even go through, like, a full, like, half team.
Yeah, I'll agree. The other was relatively more difficult, but considering the holy shit hardship to get here, we didn't need this guy to be another dragon.
No, I know what you're saying. It just feels kind of like
anticlimactic.
Yeah, anticlimactic to come to the final boss fight, and he's just easier than the Black Dragon.
And his only challenge is his status effects.
Yeah.
This guy would be... If you didn't have the status effects, he'd be so easy.
Well, I'm almost max level, and I'm still getting rocked. Like, sure, my gear might not be the best, but, like, I have decent gear, and I'm almost max level. This should be a cakewalk, and this is struggle.
Well, I don't know if it should be a cakewalk, because this isn't technically the last boss. This is, like, extra content. Like, the last boss was Mordigan. You finish the game when you fight Mordigan. This is, like, the post-game.
I disagree when this post-game has story content.
I mean, technically, but it's, like, the true ending, right? The other one is the first ending, and this is the true ending type deal.
Honestly, it feels more like that first quote-unquote final boss was the first half of the game. It was just getting to the middle point of the story, and this is the actual rest of the story. Since that middle part left so much unanswered, and it wasn't a satisfying conclusion in any way, shape, or form, I can't count it as an ending.
Also, Cosmos was the first person we saw in the game. Like, he was the first creature we saw walking into the
Yeah, this is true, but that's just poor story writing.
Well, yes. Well,
this is supposed to be post-game, but yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, a better example is Dragon Quest VIII. I won't give away the ending, but the post-game content just gives you a different variant of the original ending. So it doesn't give you extra story, it just gives you a separate ending.
See, and that's post-game. It's extra. It's not like, hey, here's the rest of the freaking story. Like with this one, it's very much, you don't know what the story is until you do this. Sorry, bye.
And then if you play the remake of the game, they give you a stupid ending that's just all fan service and makes no sense, but that's beside the point.
No, this game was a struggle to get through at times. Like, it was...
No, this is Dragon Quest VIII I'm talking about. In Dragon Quest VIII, when you get the 3DS version, there's the Jessica ending, which is literally...
Yeah.
It makes zero sense. It's just there for fan service and nothing else.
But at least you get to have Mori now join your team.
And Red. That was kind of cool, yeah.
I care more about Mori than Red.
I always thought Red was fun. I liked her accent.
I've never played anything about Dragon Quest VIII, so I don't know any of these characters.
One of these you'll days, see them eventually. We'll do a Dragon Quest VIII playthrough, just not now.
One day after we've had a bit of a dragon break.
Yeah, he's been dragoned out, yeah.
Oh.
No, next up was, we'll do 7 days. I think I'll have a nice little break with that. Be tuned for 7 days.
Well, yeah, there's also the 2 gameplay series we're playing on my channel as well to break it up. And we're going to try to finish those still. Technically 3, but only 2 of them that you guys enjoy.
Well, I don't know what you mean a third.
Yeah.
There's only 2 that I remember.
We literally talked about one of them at the beginning, but that's not the point.
Did we? I don't remember.
Not in this recording, but the first recording we did today.
This is the only thing we ever record, right, Kevin?
That's the only recording ever. Oh, so look at this. Hendrik just went twice in a row.
Yeah.
How does the turn order work?
We've complained about the turn order before already. We don't need to complain about it again.
Explain.
Why is this called Kansas, but this one is not Arkansas?
This is Arkansas, and this is Arkansas.
And we win!
Yay!
Cosmos is defeated, and you lost no one!
Yay! I think Veronica got knocked out, as per usual.
Did
Yeah,
she? I
you
thought
also
just
you also
used all
did use her
mana.
ability where she casts all of her MP though, so she was useless at that point
Well,
anyways.
that's why I did it. I knew, like, every fight Veronica's in, she just gets booty blasted.
Why did
Yeah,
his
but to be
belly
fair,
flaps wiggle while he was screaming?
I don't know. Also, you didn't spend any time like reworking any of your armor and weapons, which would have actually helped so
I
much.
went to the final town and got all the gear I could get.
Yeah, and then you upgrade it all.
Best by mere humans. Twice. Best by mere humans.
Where's your nose, you Voldemort-looking individual?
He just doesn't feel like the universe-destroying evil that he's supposed to be.
Yeah,
It's
no,
so
that-
underwhelming.
He knows. Oh, he is absolutely underwhelming. He doesn't feel like he feels like a mini boss.
He doesn't build up at all. Like, you never see him. He never does anything. It's just...
He's just there and there. He's there in the background the entire time.
To be fair, though, 8 does the same thing. The final boss in 8 is actually a little bit underwhelming as well.
Because you spend half the game thinking one person's the boss to find out that it's actually something else entirely.
Yeah, but it's not even half the game that you see the actual boss. He's actually only there for 2 areas. It's because I beat 8 recently on my thing. It's the last boss is only there for a fraction of the game.
Well, yeah, like the true
disappointing.
boss, yeah.
Yeah, the true boss. Still much better than this. So much than this. This game just tried to copy that, but did it so
It's
badly.
an absolute sham. And I mean, if people enjoy
It's
the
still
game,
blowing up
that's
again.
fine. They
Yeah,
can enjoy
you can
it,
enjoy
but I
it.
definitely do not agree with it. Because, like, if you've read a book or played a video game, you know 90% of what's going to happen before it happens.
Yeah. The thing that I always come back to is that enjoyment is subjective, but we've definitely have basically made criteria for what constitutes a good game, and this game does not fall into it, unfortunately.
But yeah, you can enjoy it. It's not a well written story. It's filled with cliches.
Yeah.
Any cliche, well done, ceases to be a cliche and just seems, it's a well part of a story. But this is just a bunch of cliches that aren't well done, so they feel cliche. They feel
And completely
really
telegraphed. Like, if this
dumb.
had come out, like, 20 years ago, and this, like, none of these cliches had already happened, it would have been okay.
If this came
Maybe.
out 20 years ago, I'd be blown away by these graphics. I'd say this is
Even-
great for the time.
Even if this came out, like, 20 years ago on the PlayStation 1 with, like, 8-bit graphics, with the same story, the story hadn't been done enough, it might be okay, but that's not the case. It came out in, like, what, 2019?
Yeah, I mean, the horse has been beaten to the point it's turned into glue. Like,
Yeah.
let's move on, guys.
Even like all of the character tropes are just they're so by the book, so rote, cookie cutter characters.
Got the
Rab is
perverted-
just the perverted old man.
Yeah. Got the two sisters, one good, one, well, a bitch.
Yeah. Saccharine, sweet, and bitter.
You got Eric, the lovable rogue.
Silent protagonist. We've got the manly man and then the more effeminate man just to round it out.
Okay. I'm going to come out and say it. In this day and age, RPGs have no place for silent protagonists anymore. It just doesn't work when you have voice acted games.
It really depends on the type of RPG. See, I still think the Fallout is fine to have a silent protagonist, because the whole point of that one is to put yourself into the character. It's third person. It's not first person. I mean, it's first person, not third person. You get to choose all the dialogue options. Your choices actually make a difference to the game. Makes more sense.
Okay, that one I can see some argument for, but it's still, even in that one, you're still one of the characters. You're not putting yourself into it. You do choose. You choose whether you are the sassy one or the angry one.
I would disagree, because Fallout usually gives you more than 2 choices, and you actually get to completely modify.
Fallout 4?
I'm talking Fallout 3 more than 4.
Yeah.
3 was just a better game. New Vegas 3, but
Well, of
it
course
gave you multiple choices, and it also gave you like the ability to completely modify your character's like characteristics.
So I'm
Like,
going to say this now,
hugely.
so everyone knows that I called it before. This chick is the previous fucker's lover, and I called it before.
He did.
I'm calling it again. I saw that coming, and I was like, this is so unoriginal. I was screaming that the first time you met her when I was just still freaking watching these videos and not part of them.
Yeah, and the whole, like, going through time to fix things is also such a stupid story trope as well.
Well,
we messed everything up. Let's go back in time to fix it. Oh,
we also we have solid rules. The rules are, when you go back, this timeline ceases to exist. It's not continued. It was specifically said you will undo history and go back to that moment.
Which it technically did, but it makes no difference.
Watch this.
Yeah. It's Erdwin's girlfriend.
Hey, it's Erdwin's girlfriend. So
Serenica, right?
Yes, Serenica. Remember those rules I just stated as we go through the rest of this.
Yeah.
Also, she, as young as she is the great whatever of Serena and Veronica.
Yep.
So that means she's had at least one kid by this age. She looks freaking 18.
Also, luminary
she
powers
could
are
be in her
transferable,
mid-20s.
apparently.
Yeah.
look at that.
Also, we
Luminary
lost
powers are
our
now
luminary powers and we somehow got them back. Which, again, made no sense because the seer gave us back our luminary powers, which Mortigan stole. So
Yeah.
did, the seer half of Mortigan go to Mortigan, take them, and give them back to us?
Luminary powers just come to whoever needs them the most. It's just plot armor. Convenient transferring plot armor.
Yeah, that makes that whole section completely useless then, considering he just was like, oh, yoink, and take it back. Alright. So she's now going to travel through time. As you can see, she's staring at the time ball. And you've given her the power, because only the Illuminator can travel through time. Alright. This means our current timeline is now undone, right?
Yeah, means our entire game was actually pointless. None of it.
The entire game now no longer exists.
This
No.
Like the whole thing was a dream, which it effectively was. Like just.
But to be fair,
we exist?
to be fair, not to defend the story, but
Sounds like you're defending the story.
No. I'm just saying, from the source material, Akira Toriyama, his story, Dragon Ball Z, and Super, there is never any stakes. So, I mean, this does follow that.
It does follow that. But
Yeah.
here's the thing. She just went back through time, which we've already established will wipe out this timeline, and now she's talking to you through time.
It also doesn't change anything. They go from, because there's a couple of different ways you can deal with time travel, right? There's a time travel where everything's already happened, so your time travel just makes what happened.
Deterministic.
Yeah, which is what this is what's happening now. She went back in time and caused everything to happen. However, earlier in the game, they did the other version of time travel where you go back in time and it creates a new universe. So they've got two different types of time travel in this one game.
No, Nate, it wasn't even that it creates a new universe. It literally kills your universe and resets you back down that time stream.
Yeah, so this game doesn't even stick to its own version of time travel. But I was saying,
look at his hand through the freaking text box. He has the luminary symbol again. Where'd that come from?
You really think they're going to be like they were so lazy the entire time? Do you think they're going to make a whole new model, or even just a new left hand?
Yeah, your character doesn't even they couldn't even be bothered to give your character a holster on his back for the sword. It's literally just floating.
Yep.
I mean, I think they're the reins for Hendrick's horse. They were always there even when they wasn't holding them. It's like he gelled them into place.
And they just floated there. It's so fucking pathetic.
For a game that has decent visuals, they cut so many corners.
For a game that has a $bajillion budget, it's pretty fucking trash.
Yeah, but it made so much money, so it doesn't matter. It's the same issue that with the Bay movies.
Well, yes.
They made so much money, but they're awful.
Oh, yeah.
Even if you don't like the designs, the actual story, the character progression, the plot, all of the Bay movies are garbage, but they made so much money that it doesn't matter.
It really doesn't.
It's the same with Saw. The Saw movies, every single one of them made something like 4 times its budget.
Oh, yeah.
So it literally doesn't matter if it's trash because it makes money.
Yeah, that's just torture porn in general. It's just another form of porn that people enjoy. So
we're talking about even this game. Doesn't matter if this game's not polished. Doesn't matter if this game's story is Like, they just basically went online and went to Wikipedia, give me a hero story, and we'll just use that.
Why do you
It
think
made
the Pokemon
tons of money.
games now suck so much more? They don't need to try. They're the #1 most profitable franchise on the planet.
I can't even
with-
play
if
the new
games
Pokemon
suck.
games. The new Pokemon games are so boring because they're so easy.
Not only are they easy, but they're completely unpolished. Like, oh yeah, the reason we removed the national dex is so that way we can do beautiful animations. There was no good animations. Every animation
It was so
I
they
seen
could sell
at best
DLC.
Even his hair is clipping through her clothing. I just was noticing
Yeah.
this right now.
Yeah,
Her
yeah.
puffy shoulders.
We also talked about how often your guys' hair was just like spazzing for no reason.
He has the wig of the Fabio.
Like right now, for instance.
He's outside, man. It's windy. You see the leaves rustling?
Yeah, I realize that, but it does it in every cutscene regardless of where he's standing.
The other thing is wind has a direction, and that direction
Also,
is not
her
from the
hair
neck
isn't
out.
moving, and neither is like Veronica's at all.
The tip of
braided,
her
Yeah,
hair
the
is
tip of her
moving.
hair is moving very slightly, but your guy's hair is moving ridiculous amounts, and Serena's hair doesn't move at all.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think in this scene they're like, you should put the sword back where it belongs. Like, no, fuck you, it's my sword.
Yeah, pretty much.
You put that shit back when we're dead. That's how the hero story goes.
Also, why hasn't Veronica turned back into an adult since we've like solved everything? What is this
Because
game?
That wasn't part of the story. That was like just something that it was like something that forced her to meet up with our character. It's pretty much all
It was done. It was done purely because of the creeps who like kid characters that are totally an adult. She's totally an
Yeah.
adult guy. I'm a
She's
4,000-year-old
The stairs
vampire.
where to get to this place was.
Yeah, like it would actually take our character like 12 hours to walk up that rainbow bridge, and if you slipped once, you're dead.
Yeah.
Wait, so at the beginning of the game, was it Kalasmos we saw, or just one of the other like little talklings or whatever they're
It was
called?
definitely Kalasmos because I think he got like there was like he either got
Oh,
red
he
or,
had like red inside of them. Yeah,
there's
you're
the,
right.
the dark little walker dudes.
Because those characters are actually explained in the Switch version of the game, the definitive edition.
Oh,
They're
really?
like,
Because there was
yeah.
nothing about them in this game other than I walked
Yeah,
past
no,
it.
not at
but,
all. No, the Switch version is just infinitely better. Was $40 cheaper, and had so much extra stuff.
They just whipped on a spiky strap-on for anyone who paid for this when it first came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really did.
And I'm the sap that took that. Man, I was
Unfortunately,
so hyped
yeah.
for this game.
Yeah,
Pre-ordered
Yeah.
it and everything. I got body for pre-ordering it.
you did. Like, it was actually disgusting that they just gave the people who pre-ordered a worse experience than people who waited.
Like, I know we
That's
shouldn't just,
actually
like,
ridiculous.
I know we shouldn't just be like non-stop bashing on a game, but at the same time, it's like, oh, they
If
did
you
a lot
deserve
of
it-
things.
But see, here's the thing.
The bashing.
Like, Nintendo, when they released the 3DS, they released it originally at a huge price, and then it was underselling, so they cut the price by about $200. I think it was like 2 months after release or something like that. To make up for it, all of the people who had paid full price got a bunch of free stuff that nobody else got. Nice. Well done. What does this game do? Nothing. They don't even give you a patch.
Yeah, they couldn't even
Yeah.
patch it into the game.
Yeah, there's literally no way for you to get that stuff.
Not without buying the game a second time, which no one's going to do.
But the DS has like the I mean the graphics aren't great, but they're even worse on the DS. I think the
Oh,
sound
by the way,
effects
did you
were
know that there is a 3DS version of this game in Japan?
Really?
This game actually has 3 versions. It has the Switch Definitive version, it has the PC original version, which is this one, and then there's a 3DS port of this game in Japan only that is done completely with like a chibi style similar to Final Fantasy 3 on the 3DS.
Why? Man, and then there's this golden motherfucking dragon. And this part pisses me
Also
off
makes no
so
sense. The
much.
tree is actually a dragon.
Well, we now get to see the story behind the scenes of...
Yeah,
so
they
the tree,
basically it's
which gives
so
you your
dumb.
powers.
It's so stupid. Like, the game ends, and then it has to spend probably, like, what is this? Like, a half hour to 40 minutes of exposition to explain their bad story.
So, the tree that gives you your powers, that lets you beat Kalasmos, could not beat Kalasmos.
I mean, that's fine if they had explained that over time the power had time to grow, and it was a combination of her power mixed with, like, a human, yada, yada, yada. The
I
whole
am
Dragon
the
Ball Z
source of all
thing.
light. Without me, the world grew dim.
I know it's just bad story, but they could have made it work if they were a bit better. But also,
They could have.
you shouldn't have to spend an hour of exposition at the end of the game to make your story even somewhat workable.
No. And then the
Also,
dickheads
where did
came.
these guys come from? They're
Our
just suddenly
galaxy of
here.
Friends, I have no idea.
Yeah, the Watchers, who are just suddenly there.
They were my friends. Wait, what do you mean they were your friends? Before there was just you at light and dark.
Also, how did she land on the ground? What I'm confused.
What are these things?
Yeah, it literally actually
Who knows?
doesn't
Who
even tell you.
cares?
The
Look
light
at
that
So
Oh,
was
it,
under
ex-
me was
it does
revived.
explain it in the Switch game. They're related to time. That's why it's talking about time. They're basically like creatures
put-
that have something to do with time.
So they're creatures that have to do with time. So they put her back in time to dragon, but she wasn't powerful enough, so she became a tree instead of a dragon, and create the entire world.
Yeah,
Okay then.
Guaranteed
How long
there's
have I
people-
waited?
Gamer dumb.
guaranteed. There are people out there who are going to defend the story of this game and be like, "This game is a masterpiece. The
It's
story is
trash.
so compelling." See, I wish the game looked like this cutscene throughout it. Like it actually looks pretty decent in this cutscene.
I would rate this cutscene a solid 7 out of 10.
I mean,
for
for a video
game
game, I would give it a little
quality.
bit higher.
For I'm saying for if that was playable game quality, I'd call that 7 out of 10.
I can't think of a game that looks that good in gameplay.
Final Fantasy VII remake does.
I've not played that, so that's probably why.
Oh, it looks really fucking good, and it has a coherent story.
Yes, here's
Semi-coherent.
the thing, though. It took them too long to make it, and I lost interest.
That's fair. I'm still waiting for them to put out the full edition before actually buying it. I've only
The
watched
problem
my
with that
friend
is
play
it's
it.
going to jump across multiple platforms, and that's just stupid.
Eventually, they'll do a here's them all together, guaranteed. They want money. Now she's called you Erdrick.
Yep, I got the title of Edric.
Yep.
There can be no night without day, so one day the darkness will rise again. So by that logic, you can let him win, because no matter what, eventually day will come again. Also, your nights are pretty freaking close.
Yeah.
Not close, pretty freaking short. Ooh, this game! These things will never die. Because we make too much money, so we'll keep making shit. This dragon, I will say, is the worst thing in this cutscene, and it looks like a freaking. It's on like Dragonheart from 1998 quality cinematic right there. Like,
I actually think
hero
that
looks pretty good. The dragon looks like mound of
the
ass.
dragon does not match the characters at all. No. Also, I would actually say that Dragon Quest or Dragonheart looks better because it's practical effects.
You're right. It looks like it's in Dragonheart 2, which is
Yeah,
CG.
yeah, which is awful. Yeah. Dragonheart 1 is actually a fantastic movie. All of the people watching this who are too young,
And here's
watch
the
it.
thing.
It's so good.
Anyone
That's the
know
guy
who-
from Dragon Quest 1, right?
That's
Or is
the guy
that
from
3?
Dragon Quest 1 or 3. Was it 3? No, I think it's 1 in the US but 3 in actual
Japan.
canon.
Yeah, yeah.
This isn't over. After this, shitting people being like, "Oh, we made this piece of shit." There's even more to make it more annoying.
Yeah, see, it's that ending is super ridiculously cliche. It's like, ha, we got you with that twist, right? We fixed everything. It's a time loop, and you helped to cause it. It's been done so many times. What do you mean it's never been done? Sure, okay.
Been
Definitely
done so
wasn't
many
telegraphed
times
at all.
by your own freaking franchise.
But then, of course, there has to be more, because, yeah, why not?
Yep. And now we
I'm
gotta
not
wait.
gonna lie, actually, the actual credits are more entertaining than the end expository.
The
I
credits
do
are-
like the Dragon Quest styles. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like going through this old style look back. It's so cool.
Yeah, it gives you, like, the progression of the game series. It's actually kind of interesting. It gives you, like, the catalog of Dragon Quest.
better times. A simpler time.
That's simple.
Yeah, back when all RPGs looked exactly the same. It looks exactly like Zelda, and it looks exactly like Final Fantasy 1.
I mean,
Yes.
if you look at the hardware they were using, they were extremely limited.
Oh, for sure.
There's just no excuse for nowadays.
Yes.
What's it called at museum where they have a bunch of stuff set up? The diorama or the display? What else is it called? The exhibit. It's like an exhibit of Dragon Quest games. Like one of those interactive exhibits.
I wish it was interactive. These would be far more fun games to play.
Yeah, actually, Final Fantasy 1 was a really enjoyable game. It's hard to play like these days, but it is still a good game.
Yeah. It definitely shows its age and that there were some growing pains and things that it needed to learn to do better, but still worth.
Yeah, here we go, Dragon Quest 3.
I played this one back in the day as a young lad on my Game Boy Color.
I've actually never played another Dragon Quest game besides 8. It's the only one I've played.
Yeah, this was back when they called it Dragon Warrior because they didn't have the licensing to call it Dragon Quest.
Oh.
I love naming conventions that change when you go overseas. Like, they couldn't call them the Avengers in Europe because the Avengers is a TV show in Europe, so they had to call it something else.
So what did they call them?
I can't remember what they called them. But they had to change the title of the movie.
It's probably something like The Defenders.
And G.I. Joe was just Action Man over there.
Action Man.
And Ninja Turtles. They couldn't call them Ninja Turtles because Ninjas was too violent. So in Europe, they were called the
Teenage Mutant
Hero Turtles. Yeah.
Hero Turtles?
Hero Turtles.
Should have just called them Pizza Turtles at that point.
It really doesn't flow as well with the song Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles.
See, I know there's a legit version of it where it's kind of merged in. My favorite version of that song is where someone dubbed it in with like the Microsoft Sam voice, so it's Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles.
Yeah.
And I love it so much.
Man, now I just want to talk about Ninja Turtles because it's infinitely more entertaining than this.
I mean, the best part of this game was the casino, by far. The most joy I had in this
Middle
game was
mode!
the casino.
Oh.
Keeping you up till like 2 o'clock in the morning because we had 30 metal mode spins. Like that was
I had to get up in the morning to go to work because everyone else had like the day off except for me because it was a holiday that I didn't get but everyone else got. So they're just playing metal mode, and I have it on stream on my phone, and I'm like, I gotta go to sleep, and you're like, but I got more metal mode spins. Oh, fine.
We started getting scared when we saw the more potential metal mode spins. We're like, no, I'm never going to go to bed if this keeps up.
I'm like, guys, it's already like 11 o'clock, I gotta get up in 6 hours, please.
Yeah. It was rough for you.
Oh, dear.
But
to be fair, I think the best part of this game was when you hit the 7777.
The
jackpot metal mode.
Yeah, the God spin.
No, I think the best part was when you missed our metal mode.
Isn't that dragon the one that we just saw? Like, it looks exactly the same.
Yes.
Almost the same graphical quality.
Same color and everything, yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, that dragon seemed to have more crisp details to it.
We're being way too mean to this, to be fair.
Not mean enough. This is a dumpster fire, and it needs to be called out as such.
I will speak nothing but the truth when it comes to this turd of a game.
I do like how Dragon Quest VII goes from still being like a 16-bit like game, and then 8 is just like graphically millions of years ahead of this one.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was on the PlayStation 2. There's no excuses not to be able to do that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this one was Super Nintendo, although it might have been N64. It's hard to say. 8 is by far the best Dragon Quest game, hands down.
I like this one the most, at least the original one, because the sound quality and the orchestra and just everything is just top notch.
Yeah, the voice acting is good. Everything is great.
The DS makes my ears bleed.
Yeah, I mean the characters are somewhat like overused nowadays, but at the time they were fresh enough.
At the time they were fresh. I mean, the only like kind of boring one was Angelo, but Yangus was fun. Jessica was fun.
We hadn't seen them often. Like, I'm sure they existed in other games, but they were relatively new to us at the time.
If they existed in 20 games, that's not too bad. Nowadays, they exist in 2,000.
Yeah, but at the time, it was quite fresh. The characters were great. You had a lot of fun interacting with them, and there was only 4. So they didn't have to try to make personalities for 8 characters.
Also, the psych up mechanic is infinitely better than the pep mechanic.
Oh, so much better. And then 9 looks like it must have been either a DS game or a 3DS game.
It really
Yeah.
it screams DS to me because it doesn't have the cheesy backgrounds for the 3DS.
I'm pretty sure it is in fact a DS game. Yeah, it looks like it. It looks about as good as Final Fantasy III for the DS.
Yeah, might put it on par with that. Though, just from this little bit looking here, I kind of like Final Fantasy III's chibi aesthetic a little more.
I don't really like the chibi aesthetic at all, so, it's fine, whatever way.
That's fair. That's fair. If you don't like that aesthetic, then you probably wouldn't like their look in that game. This looks
I've
like
never
they
been a
went
big fan of
half
chibis.
chibi.
And then this will be 10.
Don't think I ever played 10.
I've not played 10, obviously, either. And this looks like, what?
Holy
Oh,
Is this one 3DS, do you think?
no!
Maybe like the Nintendo like Wii U or something.
Oh, I
I
think
think
it was
it was
Wii.
Wii
I
U.
think you're right. Yeah, I think it was Wii.
And I already saw 2 characters that look like characters in this game, so they were already starting to reuse designs.
Oh,
I mean, to be fair, even in freaking 8, the main character was just Gohan, so...
That's fair. But I saw someone who looked suspiciously like King Cornelian in these little cutscenes.
I mean, the Seer was just King Carnelian again, so whatever.
Well, yes. Holy shit! That pissed me off so much because they used his exact face. It's like, really, guys, he's a named fucking main story character, and you can't give. Him
Here's the part that made you so angry. She made it back.
Okay,
Because didn't Erdwin die? How is he alive again? Or is this before that?
this has to be before Erdwin is killed, right?
There has to be. There
There's
has to
literally
be.
no other way, or he would be dead, and he couldn't be standing there for her to
So,
meet
so
him.
wait. Okay, so I think the only way that this works time-wise is she finds him. He doesn't know that she's a different Serena, or Serenica. He thinks it's the same Serenica he normally knows. They get busy. She gets pregnant. She goes and hides. He goes and dies. The Serena from this time goes back in time.
so just
The only way
keep
this works.
Going.
That's the
And
only
then-
way that this works. Is that
and then
she doesn't
she
tell
learn-
him that she's from the future.
And then she also spends the rest of her natural life in the past, hiding from anyone, never completing anything, and never being seen that could be linked back by her all-seeing, time, blue-bodied version of herself.
Yes.
Because her
Yeah.
blue-bodied version can't know that she went back.
Also,
It's
she
impossible
has,
to
yeah,
see.
yeah. Also, she has luminary powers. Is he not concerned about this? Does she just tell him like, "I'm from the future. We have to have kids, otherwise the future is doomed.
We have to pour
I'm-
for the
I'm-
sake
I'm-
of humanity.
Which,
To save the universe, we have to have massive amounts of sex. Come on."
also, his turnaround and be like, "Oh, I'm so happy to see you," makes no... Okay, here's
No,
another
like
thing.
it could
It
make a
doesn't
little bit
make-
of sense. It could be like, you see someone that you like and they run up behind you. It's like, oh, nice to see you, because there's no like stakes. He doesn't know that this is the first time she's seen him in years. He would have seen her like last week.
So that okay, oh cool. So they're traveling together because they're trying to save the world. She's
Depends
all
how far
super
back she
emotional.
went.
Well, then if she goes too far back, then she hasn't met him yet, and he wouldn't give 2 shits.
No, it could have been like a year before they went traveling. This game is really bad with the year, with the time, whatever. Everything's ridiculous. Also, this is the character from 3, right?
Yes, this is
the
the
character from
start
3.
of 3. They use the
So they
exact
have now-
same line.
They have actively tainted 3 by saying, "Hey, 3 was inspired by 11." That 3, a much better game, was inspired by this trash piece of fucking garbage.
Don't hold back, man. Oh, dear.
I need to hold back, or I'm gonna get actually mad. Oh, it's so fucking awful.
Well, the journey is finally over. Glad the 2 of you could join me with me.
Yep. It was a wonderful time. I enjoyed every minute of it.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys were there to hear my salty rage. 'Cause that definitely happened a fair amount of times.
I'm not gonna lie. I still enjoyed watching the game. We had the beginning of it was at least enjoyable.
Here's the thing. I'm still gonna watch this when it goes live, so I'll have watched
Oh,
this a third time.
The only reason they put that dragon is because it's called Dragon Quest. That's literally the only reason.
Oh yeah, it had to be a dragon.
Yeah.
All right, and that's pretty much all of the episode. So I guess
That's all she wrote. We're done. We never have to go back to this
we're
game
done.
again. Not one time.
Yeah, uninstalling this nonsense off my computer, purging it from my Steam, hiding it. It's done. It's over. So yeah, till next time.
There won't be a next time. Bye bye.